Try to remember the last time someone touched you, not bumped into you in a hallway, not a handshake, not a hand brushing yours as they passed you. Change actually held you and meant it. For some of you, that memory came back fast and warm. For others, you're still searching for it. And the longer it takes you to find it, the more your body already knows about something science is only beginning to understand. Because there is a kind of hunger that has nothing to do with food. It doesn't growl in your stomach, it doesn't show up on any scan, but it is real, it is measurable, and right now your body might be quietly starving from it. We call it skin hunger, and almost no one talks about it. Your skin is the largest organ you have, roughly 2 square meters of it, wrapped around everything you are. And it is not just a barrier to keep the world out. It is a sense organ, wired straight into your brain, listening every second of your life. Buried in that skin is a special set of nerves. Scientists call them C-tactile fibers. They are tuned to one thing only: a slow, gentle stroke, about the speed of a caress, at exactly the warmth of human skin. Think about that. You have a dedicated wiring system whose entire job is to detect being touched with affection. Evolution does not build hardware like that for something optional. When those fibers fire, your brain answers. It releases oxytocin, the chemical of trust and bonding. It lowers cortisol, your main stress hormone, your heart rate drops, your blood pressure eases. For a moment, your whole system is told the same ancient thing. You are not alone, and you are safe. Now take that away. Take it away for a week, a month, a year. What happens to an animal built for touch when the touching stops? In the 1950s, a psychologist named Harlow tried to answer that with an experiment that would never be allowed today. He took baby monkeys from their mothers and gave them 2 replacements. One was made of bare wire, but it held a bottle of milk. The other was wrapped in soft cloth and gave no food at all. Everyone assumed the babies would bond with the one that fed them. They didn't. The monkeys clung to the cloth mother 17, 18 hours a day and went to the wire one for barely an hour, just long enough to feed, before rushing back. When they were frightened, they ran to the cloth. Given a choice between food and comfort, they chose comfort. They chose to be held. And the monkeys raised with no soft mother at all, the ones who got food and warmth and nothing to cling to, they grew up broken. They rocked in place for hours. They couldn't socialize, couldn't mate, couldn't parent. Their bodies survived. Something else in them never did. That was a monkey. Surely a human is different. Surely we're too complex to be undone by something as simple as not being held. Except history ran that exact experiment on us. By accident, and on a scale no lab would ever dare. In the 1980s and 90s, in the orphanages of Romania, thousands of children were raised in rooms full of cribs. They were fed. They were kept warm. They were kept clean. By the numbers on a clipboard, their needs were met. But there were too few workers and too many infants, so almost no one picked them up. A baby could cry for an hour and no one would come, not out of cruelty, just arithmetic. These children were not starving for food, they were starving for touch. Their growth was stunted, sometimes even though they were eating enough. Their stress hormones ran high and stayed high. The very wiring of their brains developed differently. Some had stopped crying altogether, not because they were content, but because they had learned far too early that crying brought no one. Decades before, a doctor named René Spitz had documented the same horror in clean, well-run foundling homes. In one home he studied, more than a third of the children were dead within 2 years. Not from hunger, not from any disease they couldn't fight, from the sheer absence of being held. He gave it a name that says everything. He called it failure to thrive. Not failure to eat, not failure to breathe, failure to thrive. Because it turns out the body does not just need fuel to keep going, it needs to be touched to keep going. And a human who is never held does not simply feel sad. They begin quietly to come apart. So here is the uncomfortable part. That same wiring is still inside you. You never grew out of it. You just learned to live around the hunger. We built a world that slowly removed touch from ordinary life, and we called it progress. We moved into our own apartments. Almost 1 in 3 American homes now holds a single person, more than triple what it was a lifetime ago. We work from screens. in separate rooms, in separate cities. We send a heart-shaped icon instead of pressing a hand to a shoulder. We can go an entire day, an entire week, speaking to dozens of people and being physically touched by none of them. And nobody decided this out loud. There was no announcement. It happened the way the loss of anything important happens, one convenience at a time, until one day you realize you can't remember the last real embrace, and you tell yourself it doesn't matter. But your C-tactile fibers are still there, waiting for a signal that doesn't come. Your cortisol is still climbing without the touch that used to bring it down. Researchers who study connection have found that long-term isolation raises your risk of dying early about as much as smoking does. Not because loneliness is a feeling, but because to a body built for closeness, being alone reads as danger. As a wound, the body keeps trying to heal and can't. This is the part almost no one will say to you. If you have felt that ache, the strange heaviness of going too long without being held, the way a single hug can suddenly make your eyes sting for no reason, you were never weak. You were never too needy or too sensitive. You were a creature doing exactly what it was designed to do, sounding an alarm that has kept your species alive for 1,000,000 years. Because touch was our first language, long before we had words. A mother holds an infant skin to skin, and the baby's heart rate steadies. Its temperature stabilizes. Its breathing falls into rhythm with hers. Hospitals now do this on purpose with premature babies, lay them bare against a parent's chest and watch them survive at rates that medicine alone couldn't reach. They call it kangaroo care. We needed a clinical name for the oldest medicine there is. Long before language, before farming, before fire, two early humans sat close in the dark and groomed each other's hair, and in doing so told each other something no sound could carry. You are one of mine. I will keep you. You are not alone out here. That message never left us. It is still the thing your nervous system is most desperate to hear. Every hug, every hand held across a table, every head resting on a shoulder is that same ancient sentence spoken in the only language the body never forgot. So go back to that memory. The last time someone truly held you, whether it came fast or whether you're still looking. Because the people around you are carrying the same hunger you are, and almost none of them will ever say it out loud. The friend who lives alone. The parent who hasn't been embraced since their partner died. The person beside you tonight who would give anything to be reached for and never asks. A human body can survive without touch for a long time. It just won't ever feel fully alive. And the saddest thing about skin hunger is how easily it's fed. How the cure was never far away, never expensive, never complicated. It was always just an arm's length from where you were standing. Someone in your life is starving for it right now, and you are one of the few people who could end it. All it takes is reaching out and meaning it.